This is the Deep Dive from Global Heroes, where positive stories get the spotlight they deserve. Stay inspired by signing up for our newsletter and following us at Global Heroes across social media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Think about just escaping it all. The noise, screens, everything, and instead stepping into somewhere, the air is just crisp, it's vast, quiet, mountains everywhere. If that idea of the real untamed Yukon wilderness calls to you, well, stick around. This deep dive should be interesting.
Right. We're digging into some material today, specifically excerpts about the Mount Logan EcoLodge and their Yukon guided adventures. Think of it as us trying to really, get a feel for what makes this particular wilderness spot special.
Exactly. So the mission is to look at these sources, pull out the key stuff. What's it really like? What's on offer if you're craving that kind of escape? We're kind of exploring it together, like discovering a hidden gem. So jumping right in. The sources call it the Mount Logan EcoLodge and Yukon Guided Adventures. And the phrase that jumps out is it's where adventure and tranquility come together. It really sets a tone.
It does.
It promises warmth, comfort, and a deep connection to the wild, all amidst the untamed beauty of the Yukon wilderness. Pretty strong start from the material.
Yeah, it is. And that location is, well, it's key. The sources put it deep in that Yukon landscape. Now, it's named after Mount Logan, Canada's highest peak. But you can't actually see the summit from, the main lodge buildings.
Oh, interesting.
But, and this is important, its spirit and the whole St. Elias mountain range, they totally define the area. The mountain itself is maybe 150 kilometers off. But the sources say it feels like it's in their backyard.
Right.
And you can apparently see it on clear days if you do, say, a flight seeing tour or certain hikes they mention. So it's definitely part of the vibe.
Okay, that makes sense. Because deep wilderness can sound intimidating to get to.
Oh.
But the sources actually say it's surprisingly convenient, especially coming from BC. Flying to Whitehorse International Airport looks like about a 2-hour flight from Vancouver or Victoria, Air North, Air Canada.
Seems about right.
And then it's a stunning 1.5-hour scenic drive to the lodge itself. So the journey sounds like part of the whole deal.
And speaking of the experience, the sources make a big point about the person behind it all. Roxanne Tenace Mason. She's described as a seasoned explorer, guide, visionary. She's the owner.
Okay.
And get this, nearly 4 decades in the tourism industry.
Yeah.
Worked with world-class travel companies like Butterfield and Robinson.
Wow, okay, so real expertise there.
Totally. But the sources stress it's more than just a resume. She's called the heart and soul of this wilderness haven.
Yeah.
Really focused on exceptional hospitality, making guests feel like family.
That personal touch.
Yeah, there's this quote from her. From the cozy ambiance to the curated adventures, I want every aspect to be both rejuvenating and unforgettable. They even add she brings a touch of magic and a sprinkle of stardust. So it sounds like her deep experience comes with this really personal commitment, almost magical, they imply.
That mix of serious experience and genuine warmth makes a lot of sense for a place called a haven. And the sources highlight things that seem to build that feeling. Rustic charm for the rooms, cozy but well-equipped.
Yeah.
Expert guides for exploring Kluane National Park, which is basically on the doorstep. The idea of seasonal beauty, it's great year-round, winter sunrises, midnight sun.
Yeah, different appeal depending on when you go.
And overall, authenticity. The sources really hammer this home. It's about seeing the true Yukon raw, wild, and real.
And, for a lot of people, authenticity definitely includes the food. The sources mention the culinary experience. It's not just about eating. It's, part of the story. They highlight stuff from Yukon farms and wild foraged ingredients.
Oh, like what?
Things like spruce tips, fireweed, rose hips, wild stuff. Plus, they grow their own garden, make their own jams, compotes.
Okay, so really connecting you to the place through the food.
Exactly. An authentic northern menu is how they put it.
So, pulling it all together, what does this mean for you, the visitor? The sources describe it as a real escape. No crowds. Experiences range from seeing the northern lights, which must be amazing, to hiking glacier-fed valleys, spotting wildlife.
Dull sheep, grizzlies, caribou, the big stuff.
Yeah. And it sounds like Roxanne and her team are the ones who bring your adventure to life. They mention new Yukon guided adventures packages, too. Seems less like off-the-shelf tours and more like tailored experiences.
I think that's the idea. So, stepping back, what the sources seem to be telling you is, if you're craving an escape, whether that's hardcore adventure or maybe just deep rest and connection, this place seems set up to offer both.
Right.
It's presented as more than just lodging. It's a chance to swap the everyday for something, genuinely unforgettable.
Yeah, based on everything we've looked at in the source material, the Mount Logan EcoLodge really does come across as a true wilderness haven.
Hmm.
It's this blend of real northern adventure, that deep nature connection and hospitality that feels really personal and authentic.
And the sources use phrases like retreat for the soul and the true Yukon raw, wild and real.
Hmm.
It kind of leaves you with this thought, doesn't it? What would finding your own soul retreat in a place that feels raw, wild, and real, what would that actually look like for you?
That's a great question to ponder. And hey, if this deep dive has got you thinking, the sources wrap up with a pretty direct invitation. Why wait? Start planning now.
Makes sense.
They mention there are summer and fall openings still available, and the place to look is their website, mountloganlodge.com. Thanks for diving deeper with us. For more inspiring stories, subscribe to the Global Heroes newsletter, follow us on social, and stream It's a Beautiful World on Prime Video.